What's going on, guys? Back at you again, and we're gonna go right through these picks, go right through them. And we had another great week as usual, but who knows? I'm not Nostradamus. I don't know the future. I'm just guessing based on what I see on the money and the spread and the news and all other little things that you guys would never even care to be interested in. I'm a geek when it comes to sports and football and analytics and stuff like that. I get into stuff that most people would never think about. But the point I'm saying is, I kind of have a gist of how they're going to go with things. I'm not saying I know completely, but most of the time I know what they're going to do. But tonight, Vikings, Rams. I'll admit though, on Thursday night it's kind of a hit or miss because you don't have other games to hide behind. You know what I mean? 1 o'clock games, you got like 7, 8 games going on, so that you can hide, miss things. So a lot of things happen during those time frames. But Thursday night, it's hard to call. I've been good with Thursday night games. I think I'm like 5-2 or something, but I'm not really keeping record of that. But I know I've been doing decent. But last year I struggled with Thursday night because Thursday is just it's hard to predict. But based on what I think is gonna happen, I think Minnesota is gonna win just because they took that loss in their division. I think they're gonna try to keep Minnesota and the Detroit Lions close to the end, and the Rams a lot of injuries. But who knows? They could let the Rams just win because no one's expecting it. And I would be aware of that, you know. This is a game I would probably stay away from because either team could win, you know. You're not going to count against or count Sean McVay out and Matt Stafford out, you know. You're just not. And at the same time, you can't count out Minnesota with the way they've been playing this year. But then it really just comes down to how they want this to play out. Because I could see the Rams winning this game. You know, what if Puka Nakua or Cooper Cup they get going? You know, I don't even know if they're going to be playing or if they're injured or not. But I'm saying, what if they have a good game? But Minnesota, they have a good offense. They got the coaches. They got a good defensive coach, but not a great defense. It's just that coach puts them in position to win, and it just looks bleak. Yeah, that's the best way I can say. But I'm gonna go with Minnesota. I don't feel good about it though because I know the Rams could win. The Rams are at home as well. They're in a dome. Minnesota plays in a dome, so they'll be comfortable. So that's why I'm kind of like, you know what, they'll be all right. But we'll have to see. I'm gonna stick with Minnesota, but just know I don't feel good about it. All right, next game. I got Tennessee, Detroit. I'm gonna be out of order. This is just for, something to look at. Tennessee, Detroit. I got Detroit winning. All right, next Baltimore, Cleveland. Be careful. This could be a trap game, but I got Baltimore winning. Next, we got Green Bay, Jacksonville. Uh, I'm gonna go Green Bay because I don't know what they're doing with Jacksonville yet. They had them start off slow, and then they won the last couple of games, so I don't know what they're doing with them. But I'm gonna go with Green Bay. Next, we got Indy, Indianapolis Colts versus Houston. Uh, yeah, these teams flip flop. I forget who won the last time. So whoever won the last time is not winning this time. I picked Indy, but I don't remember who won. If so, basically what I'm saying, if Houston won the last game, Indy's winning this game. If Indy won last, then Houston's winning this game. So just go look back and find out. And that's how I'm picking this game. All right, next, Arizona versus Miami. I'm picking Arizona. Next, we got Atlanta versus Tampa Bay. I'm going Atlanta. Next, we got the Jets versus New England. I'm going the Jets. I don't feel good about it. They kind of suck. They've burned me a lot this year. And next, we got Philadelphia versus Cincy. Philly Won an ugly game 10-7. Really should have lost that game. I'm going Cincy. I think Cincy needs to get this done. Philly, it looks horrible, if we're being honest. And since Shane Steichen has left there, little by little every year, he's looked worse. Jalen Hurts and the Eagles, they've looked worse every year, little by little, ever since Shane Steichen left there. And I told you that would happen. I knew it would. And now, so I picked Cincy versus Philly. Now we got Buffalo and Seattle. This is gonna be a good game. I was leaning Seattle just because they're home. It's going to be a good game. This is going to be a hard one to call, but I'm going to go Buffalo. Yeah, because they have Amari Cooper now, so now they have a viable target. So I'm going Buffalo, guys. And then after that, we got New Orleans versus the Chargers. I have New Orleans written down for the win, but I must have been drinking something when I wrote that, because New Orleans, they look horrible right now. I can't go with that. Yeah, I must have been sipping on something crazy when I wrote that W there. But yeah, we're going to pick the Chargers over in New Orleans. Even though it's any given Sunday, they could have the Saints win this game. We know that, but I just don't think it's going to happen. All right, next we got Chicago versus Washington, the two rookies going at it. This is a pretty even matchup, but I think Chicago just has them a little bit. I think Chicago just has a little bit more because of those receivers they have and the tight ends and the running backs. So they just have a little bit more on offense. But I think Jaden Daniels could possibly be a better quarterback, and he didn't have all that hype. But it was the number one and number two pick, so I mean, it's not really that far off. I'm gonna pick Chicago because I think they're just a better team all around, but not by much, But I'm gonna go Chicago. Next, KC versus the Raiders. I'm going KC. They just got DeAndre Hopkins, and the rich gets richer. Next, we got Carolina versus Denver. They're going back to Bryce Young. That scares me, though, because everyone's going to pick against them, and they could eke out a win because no one will expect it, and Vegas can make a killing off of that. So, but that's more for the covers and the money line and the over-under. For me just picking win or loss, it's not going to really affect anything. So, I mean, I don't feel great about Carolina beating Denver, even though honestly it could happen because everyone's going to be so high on Denver and so low on Carolina and Bryce Young that they could literally just shock everyone. That's literally rigged and scripted NFL classic right there. That's a classic NFL special for that to happen. So I would not be surprised if Carolina won, guys, against Denver. But I'm making the safe pick, Denver. I don't feel good about it because this feels like a trap. Like I feel like I'm falling through leaves through the ground right now. But yeah, we're gonna go Denver. All right, second to last, we got Dallas versus the Niners. I'm gonna go the Niners because they just took a bad loss, and Dallas will probably win that division anyhow. Either them or Washington, actually. Actually, this might be a down year for Dallas. Who knows? We're going to have to take a look at that. But I'm going to pick the Niners here. I think the Niners... they lost Brandon Ayuk for the year. They did. That's their best route runner. So that actually changes things, guys. I might go Dallas just because they're losing that playmaker. Now, that's one less guy that Brock can throw to. Like, they still have other weapons, but, like, Ayuk is their number one receiver. Dallas, they still got CD. They got other guys. Like, Dallas is a good team. They just don't have a lot of firepower, They let Amari Cooper go. Like, I couldn't believe that. And they let their running backs go. Like, brought Zeke back. I don't know. They should have kept Zeke and Pollard together. They were a good 1-2 punch, and they ruined that. I just don't trust Dallas. Like, I know they have potential. I know they have things around them to make you believe that they can be good, but they just never get it done. They just never, ever, ever do. So that's why I'm just like, I'm torn. Because I want to pick them, like I really do. Because the Niners, they feel like they're vulnerable. They're a good team, but they're not great. They're not what they were last year and the year before. I think people have figured out Purdy. They figured out how to play Purdy. I knew it was going to happen. I told you guys, give it a year, give it some time. We got tape on this guy. Defensive coordinators are going to try different things, and they're going to figure out what he struggles with, and that's what they're doing. If you've noticed, a lot of teams are playing the Niners the same way, and I think Kyle realizes it. He realizes, shoot, they figured out his weakness. Because you got to realize, when the Niners call plays, they're playing to his strengths. They don't go to his weaknesses ever. But when they're playing against a good defensive coordinator, he forces them to have to play with his weakness. Make him play left-handed. That's what they do. That's what teams are doing. That's what the Chiefs did. They're making you have to throw deep. They're overplaying the short routes because that's what Birdie likes to do. The quick slants, the quick routes, 1, 2, 3, throw it. That's what he wants. You blitz them and take away the short stuff underneath. The safeties were in the screen. You could see them in the screen playing so close up because they're trying to jump routes. You could tell that their coach, their defensive coordinator, Spags, was telling them, yeah, this is the week where we're just going to jump routes because Purdy is just not that type of quarterback where he's going to, throw it deep and sling it. He wants to get the ball out quick and let his playmakers make plays. If you take away the playmakers and blitz and jam them up, you can't play like that anymore. So I think that's what they did. And that's what I think Dallas could do. If Dallas is smart, they'll follow the KC's game plan. I might have talked myself out of my 49ers pick, guys. But at the same time, the Dallas Cowboys, they don't have a defensive coordinator like Spagnuolo. Spagnuolo is a champion, a 4-time champion, 2 different teams. Can't compare that. So I'm going to just go into the Niners. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Whatever. I'm still a bomb person at picking games. I'm still going to be just fine. This sun's still going to come out tomorrow. All right, so the last game we got Giants versus Pittsburgh. I'm going to go with Pittsburgh, even though this is another trap game. But the only reason that it may not be a trap game is because it's a standalone game at night. So they don't mess around as much. So usually on the standalone games, they let the better perceived team win. The team that people perceive is better, they usually let that play out. That's why I'm going Pittsburgh. Other than that, if you want the covers, catch me on Patreon. Other than that, catch me next week for the picks for week 9. Thanks for watching, guys.